everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and today we're going to be doing the pickup video for the month of February of 2018, the shortest month of the year, and also the most shittiest time of the year. Nah, I'm just kidding though, but I don't know what it is. I just always feel like crap in February a lot of the times, but either way, I'm doing a lot better now. So, anyways, before we get into the main swing of things, I do want to make one quick shout out here, because I forgot to do it last month. I know I did it the month before, but I think I forgot to do it last time, so do forgive me on that. But, anyway, so the first shout out I'm going to give comes from a very small channel that I've been watching for quite a while, and in fact he's actually been doing a bit more active a lot lately, and that is Captain Psychopath. In fact, I gotta say, I actually really like his name. I think it's pretty great. So, he's mostly a reviewer that does, like, a lot of the reviews that I kind of do, you know, like the weird shit. But the most of his focus I seem to be noticing lately is that he does a lot of reviews on, like, licensed games. But licensed games that are, like, not your typical ones, like, usually the ones that are based on games that are just weird to begin with. Like, for an example, he did one on, like, 24, like, the TV show, has the video game on PS2, and then most recently he did was, Ed, and Eddie from, you know, the old cartoon show. I used to watch that shit as a kid. So yeah, I actually really like his reviews. I think they're pretty funny and amusing, and I don't know, I just think he does a pretty good job at them, and, you know, he's a smaller channel, so I do think he does need a bit more exposure out there, so anyways, I hope you guys check him out at some point. And of course, don't forget to check out all the other channels in the description of this video. So, with any case, now let's begin with the pickups. Alright, so as for the first game we got here, this is on the PS3, and I actually did the impossible and actually get something from the Facebook Market app, which, in case you don't know, that's like crackhead prices galore, because, holy shit, it's like a dumping ground of like a bunch of like shovelware games, and if you find something that's like actually decent, it's like way fucking overpriced. It's fucking bullshit. Well, anyways, I actually found something that was actually worth a damn, and it was actually at a reasonable price, so I was like, hey, gotta get this shit. So the game that it is Vanquish. So, as you know, this is a third-person shooter on, from Platinum Games, and, you know, it's a lot like Gears of War, but I actually like it a lot better, personally, just because it's very over-the-top, and I also love the fact, like, the dialogue in the game is actually, like, it's really cheesy, so, you know, it kind of suits me a lot better. It's not, like, super-duper freaking serious, you know? But, anyways, though, I fucking love this game. It's fucking awesome, and not only that, but it's probably, like, my favorite shooter from last gen. Not even kidding. I think it's that fucking good. Or at least it will be up there. I don't know for sure, but either way, it's fucking amazing shit that I can highly recommend. Whether you get this one, the 360 one, or PC one which came out, which I might actually consider getting for streaming purposes. I think that'd be great. So, yeah, I'm actually kind of sad that I never played this when it came out, because it came out at a time when I was, like, fucking sick of shooters, because there was, like, you know, an oversaturation of them. And don't get me wrong, there was a couple good shooters that came out last gen, but, you know, for every, like, good shooter that you would have, there would be, like, 5 to 10, like, mediocre and shitty ones. So the next one we got here is on the Nintendo Switch, and it is a RPG of all things, which is always interesting to me, and that happens to be The Longest 5 Minutes. Now, before you ask, no, it doesn't take 5 minutes to beat the game. Like, shit, that'd be like the shortest RPG ever. But in all seriousness, though, it has to do with the concept of the game, because the game, like, it starts out at the final boss, and while your main character is about to do, like, the big attack, he just suddenly ups and forgets everything that happened before that moment. So your party members are trying to help you remember, and even the final boss himself is all trying to help you remember, which is pretty fucking amusing. So the entire game, like, takes place in between, like, flashbacks that you have, and between every segment, it goes back to, like, the present, and he's like, oh, I remember now, and that kind of thing. And then, you know, you get a lot of, like, really cheesy dialogue, which really reminds me of, like, the good old days of working design, which is always a good thing in my opinion, because I fucking love cheesy dialogue shit. And, you know, the story itself is actually really good and interesting, and, you know, I love the concept. It's very unique, but yet very familiar kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it right, but, you know, I just really like it, though. But, unfortunately, as good as the story is, the gameplay is really fucking easy as shit. So, you know, it's a very, simplified, old school RPG turn-based, so, and that's all fine and dandy there, but yeah, the game is just really freaking easy. Like, I was like, shit, like, I'm just, like blowing through everything, like, really quickly. But, yeah, which, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I will say that if you're looking for, like, an RPG with, like, really in-depth mechanics and ones that have, like, really brutal difficulties and shit, then, no, I wouldn't recommend this game. But I think for those that, want to have, like, a good story, but that aren't, like, super into RPGs because, some of them can take forever to beat, or some are just, really freaking hard. Well, I think it'd be a good one for those, for people that aren't, like, super into, like, the genre, but do want to have a good story. So, I would recommend it for that, but, it all depends on what you feel there. But for me personally, I like it, but it's definitely not the best one you'll ever play, but I do think the story is definitely the best part. Alright, so the next two games, and also the last two, are two games that are on PS4, and oddly enough, they both have a lot of controversy within their fan bases, so yeah, things are about to get really interesting. So, the first one we got here is Secrets of Mana, the PS4 Remake Edition, or what the fuck else you want to call it. Well, anyways, it's exactly what you would suspect. It's the classic game of Secrets of Mana, with a fresh spin on it. Well, more like a modern spin onto it, where it has, like, 3D graphics and voice acting, and, well, yeah, everything else is pretty much just about the same thing. Although one thing they did upgrade that I do know is that there is actually shortcuts for your inventory, which was really nice because you weren't able to do that in the original one. So no more having to, like, pause and you gotta select the item and, all that shit. So, no, that's all gone. But, yeah, a lot of people were very, very mixed on this game, and I can understand certain things, like, like the graphic style, yeah, it's not like the best looking shit I've ever seen, but I do think it looks nice for what it is, but I can understand people not digging into it. Although personally, I think they should have gone for like a hand-drawn style. Like, could you imagine if this game was in like, I don't know, let's say like the hand-drawn style of like the Wonder Boy game, like the recent one that came out? That would have been fucking amazing, but, for what this is though, this isn't bad looking, but that's just me though. But anyways, though, I think it looks okay. And the voice acting, yeah, it's really not that great, but, it is very cheesy, though. And I have heard that it does get better, like, later on in the game, but, I haven't put in a lot of time into this one because I've been playing a lot of other shit, though. But, yeah, I like Secrets of Mana. I think it's a solid game. I don't think it's, like, the latest and greatest, like, action RPG on the Super Nintendo, but I did enjoy it for what it was. But I do like this one, so I'm pretty happy with it, but I can understand why people aren't, but it's okay. We all have our own shit we gotta deal with there. But, it would be really cool if Square did, like, more things kind of like this. Like, could you imagine if they did, like, a modern version of, like, the first ActRaiser or something? Now, that would be the shit. Alright, one last game, and as I said, this is another one that has a lot of controversy. In fact, I actually did do a stream of this one, so even before, so you probably should know what I'm talking about. And that happens to be Dicey Warriors 9. So, yeah, as you know, huge fan of the series. I've been a huge fan of it since I first played 5 on PS2, and then went back to some older ones, and then, played some of the newer ones and all that shit. And, I enjoyed all of them, except for, like, 2 and 6. But 2 I can understand because, it's a very dated game, where 6 is just fucking awful as fuck. But this one, okay. So, I've been hearing a lot of, like, controversies with this game, and as again, I can understand a lot of the complaints, and hell, I'm not even, like, loving this game. I think the game is actually okay. Granted, not great, but I think it's alright. And I think a part of the reason why I think this game is alright really has to do with the fact that the game just feels like the concepts of it being great are there, but they're not implemented as well as I was kind of, like, looking forward to. And I think another reason is that the game came out so fucking soon. Like, I was expecting this game to come out in, like, like the summer or, like early fall or something. But no, it came out, like a couple weeks ago. Like, what the fuck? So, I think they should have pushed it back a little bit, because I will say, like, this game is pretty rough around the edges, and, You know, I think that if they release it later on, it could have came out like a lot better. But you know, but as better as it would have been though, there's still a couple things about it that that aren't as great. Like for an example, like I wish there was more interactivity outside of the battles, because when you like talk to people and shit, there's not really a lot you can do. The side quests are just typical, like, oh, do this, do that, blah blah, all that kind of shit. But the battles themselves are pretty good, even though like the frame rate isn't like as consistent as I would have liked it to be. But it's not like terrible frame rate. It's a lot better than fucking like Drakengard 3. It's not that bad, but like I said, it's very flawed. But I still kind of like it. Like I like it enough to say that I do like it, but I don't love it like I should have, because I love the 8th game. That one is still like fucking great shit. And I still love 4, even though that one has some dated parts about it. But yeah, anyways, though. So if you were like a fan of this series and you still haven't picked this one up yet, I'll say wait on a price drop, to be honest. Just, maybe by that time more patches will come out, fix some of the minor things and all that shit. Alright, so that's pretty much everything I have to say for now, because there's a lot of other things I could have said about the last game there, but I did an entire stream of it, so if you do want to hear more of my thoughts on it, you can always check that out if you're really curious to. But anyways, so that pretty much sums up everything else, and hopefully there's some games in here that you could possibly check out in the future, or ones that you might want to give some time, all that shit. So anyways, with that said, thanks for watching, commenting, and have yourselves a great day.